Hello YouTube and welcome to Go Girl Gaming's coverage of The Sims 4. In this video I will be giving my first impressions of The Sims franchise's newest offering. I was an avid player of The Sims 3 series, possessing all of the expansion packs and many of the stuff packs. So let's get started. Here is the neighborhood called Willow Creek. I already have 4 Sims in this neighborhood, and I also have a Sim in Oasis Springs. I'm going to go to my writer Sim for the purposes of this video. I'm going to skip the Create a Sim because there was a lot that, well, first there was the free demo that was out a month or two, maybe even longer before release, and there was a lot of press on it, and there was also a lot of press just about the whole Create a Sims mode. There was a lot of videos on it, so I'm just gonna skip that. So one of the things that was an issue for me in the Sims 3 versus the Sim 4, for the Sims 4, as you saw, the load time was good. That was not a long load time, and that was definitely an issue that I had with the Sims 3. Load times took forever. Granted, looking at the difference between the two, I think I understand why the load times took forever, because of, in the Sims 3 you were loading an entire world, and it was a very large world that you could run around and look at, whereas in the Sims 4 it's a step back, in my opinion, to like the Sims 2, where you're basically, granted you can go a little bit outside of your own lot, but for the most part you're confined to your own lot. Now that's a definite minus, but going back to the plus is that the load screens are a lot less and my game doesn't crash as much. And I don't have a crappy computer either. I have a gaming computer, and yet the Sims 3 would lock up my game and it would crash. I have not had that issue at all in the Sims 4, so kudos for that. And the load times are a lot shorter, kudos for that, but the load times better be shorter simply because of the way they do things. The way they do things in the Sims 4 is you basically have to go from lot to lot to lot, which to a degree isn't a bad thing. Granted, I'm an explorer type person. Any game I'm in, I'm the first one that's going to try and explore here and explore there. But in this game, you really can't do that. You're not free to run about and explore. You basically have to go from lot to lot to lot, and there's not a whole lot in the different lots. One of the things I do like about the Sims 4 in comparison to the Sims 3 is the graphics. The graphics, in my opinion, are a big improvement. And I liked the graphics in the Sims 3. I didn't have any complaints about them. But the Sims 4, it seems that your Sims really just pop more. They come to life more. And so does the furniture. The furniture looks, I mean, it's a game, but this furniture looks a lot more real. There is a lot less of the painted and a lot more of the 3D effect, particularly when it comes to the grass and the shrubbery. Now granted, this type of grass, but the plants themselves look more alive, and I think she needs to water this one. So we're going to have her water, and then I'm going to take her out into the world so that you can see what I mean as far as what you have to do. Now, she can probably go to these houses here without having to, and of course this one because it's right next door, without having to incite the travel icon. But anywhere else she wants to go, we have to have her travel. Oh, and I forgot about that. As soon as you click travel, they stop whatever it is you have them doing, and they immediately travel to wherever you tell them to go. Now here's another thing that to me is a minus in the Sims 4, and don't get me wrong, I actually like the game, but again, being a Sims 3 player, and I haven't played the Sims 3 since the Sims 4 came out, but being a Sims 3 player, there are definite things that I miss and definite things that I hope they add. So far, the only places that you can go are the library, a gym, a like nightclub or a bar, and a museum and a park. That's it. And then of course other people's houses. That's it. Even when you go over to Oasis Springs, it's the same stuff. It's a bar, a gym, another bar in this case, a museum, and a park. Boring. In The Sims 3, I could go not only to a library and a museum and a bar and a gym, I could go to the grocery store. I don't care what anybody says. I enjoyed my trips. I don't care it was a rabbit hole. I enjoyed my trips to the grocery store. Now I have to buy everything out of my refrigerator, which is so unrealistic, it's not even funny. I could go to the movie theater. I could go to the to work, and then all of the other places, all of those places that were related to work. So if you went to work at I believe it was the business building, you could also go there to learn the painting skill. You could go, no, painting was education. You could go there to learn the writing skill. All these things are gone. Now when you go to work, it's like The Sims 2 all over again. You basically just disappear into nothingness, and your sim goes off and comes back so many hours later. And in the meantime, you can't even see what their needs are. You just kind of have to guess at, okay, in 2 hours, I'm going to have her stop working really hard and have her chill out with her friends so her socialization doesn't go down. And now in another 2 hours, I'm going to have her stop socializing and have her have some fun so she doesn't get stressed. It's like that. You're micromanaging, but you're doing it blind. After a point, you kind of figure it out. But even still, it bothers me, as you can tell. So I'm going to have her go to a nightclub at 10 a.m. Yeah, right. Actually, I'm going to just have her go to the local library, because there is a lot of socialization at the library, which in real life to me is kind of odd. For me, libraries were always places that when you go to the library, it's not a place that you socialize. You can, because groups and stuff meet there, but they meet in the rooms. When you go to the library itself, if there's somebody yakking, it's kind of like, shh, it's a library. That's a library. Shh, it's a library. This isn't a library. This is a bar without drinks. So, yeah. So I'm going to go have her join this chess game so that she can get her social skill up, because she doesn't have a friend yet that I can just keep her social need up. So that's why I'm doing this. Maybe she'll make a friend, and that will be satisfied. The other thing that I've noticed is that, yeah, I know that that's the big thing in the game, that they were going to in effect force you to be more social, but it just seems like it's a little bit of overkill, kind of like how they did with, I believe it was Sims 1 and Sims 2, that a lot more was dependent on social, whereas in the Sims 3 you had a choice. If you wanted a loner sim, you could successfully have a loner sim. You can have the loner sim trait in this game, but it's not a good idea to have because of all the socialization they make you do, and a lot of that socialization, until you make a friend, has to be done outside. So they are being social because they have to be, and so they're tense about it. It just seems kind of odd. Also, the social skill so far to me has been the skill that I have had to spend the most time, or not skill, has had to be the what are these called? Whatever these are called. That's the thing that I've had to spend the most time with. I've seen other people's videos, and I believe somebody remarked that their Sims always have to go to the bathroom. That has not been an issue for me. Yeah, they have to go to the bathroom, but that has not been the issue for me. The issue for me has been the social. It seems like every 10 seconds I have to do something so that she socializes. Even though her her makeup need not be that of socialization. So to me, that is a minus. Other than that, so far as when you actually do the socializations, those have actually been, comparatively speaking, the Sims 3 to the Sims 4, they have been more satisfying. As you had saw there was an episode where he made her look away so that he could switch the chess pieces. That was cute. I like that. Also, the Sims don't, at least so far in the game, they don't do as many things repetitively that, for me at least, were annoying. Like, for example, every time they ate a meal in The Sims 3, or almost every time, they would start choking. And it's like, learn to eat. But fortunately, they got rid of that little animation, because at least for me, maybe it didn't bother other people. Maybe some people even laughed, but to me, I didn't like it. So far, the other thing that I've noticed is that with some of the, you never know when they're going to get things like this. Uncomfortable from a low quality chair. Now, in The Sims 3, they were actually pretty good about the whole chair thing. They got rid of that aspect of the chairs being uncomfortable, or at least in The Sims 4, when you first starting up, they'll tell you if something is uncomfortable. I'm not sure if this chair actually will say that it's uncomfortable, but there are a lot of things that don't indicate that it is of poor quality, and yet your sim will be like, oh, this bed is hard, and it'll be like the fourth bed in the series, and it's like, there's nothing that indicates that this sim should have a problem with this bed, and yet, ta-da, the sim has a problem with the bed. Same thing with this chair. I didn't see anything that really would indicate. Plus, I've had them sit in this chair before. I've had them sit in, because all these chairs are the same. This is the first time I've ever gotten the uncomfortable from that chair. Some may say I'm nitpicking, but it's a nitpicky game, so I'm going to nitpick away. But on the plus side, I do think that a lot of the reactions are better, and a lot of the socializations are better, and a huge plus, Sims 4 versus Sims 3, is multitasking. The multitasking is awesome. Love it, love it, love it. Now, since my sim socialization is all nice and done, I'm going to send her home. She's a writer, so I'm going to let her go home and write. Now, I do like the idea of having rewards. So, for example, if I get my tune to level 10 in the writer career, then I will have access to a new room. What I don't like the fact is she has to get to level 10 in the writer career. I would have preferred that she just gets to level 10 in writing, because some of these professions you don't need to have a job in order to do. Writer is one of them. Artists, at least in the beginning, you actually make more money staying home and painting than you do going to the job. One of my artists, I'm just refusing to give her a job, because it's like, why? She can get more done at home than going to work. So why should I send her to work? I might even do that with, if not this writer, another writer. But we'll see. The other thing that for me, which may not be an issue for other people, is for me, I've had to have a learning curve on a lot of the controls, and this is one of them. Just turning my house around, and maybe just that particular control may have to do with the fact of the type of mouse that I use. But I'm having a bit of a learning curve on the whole how you move things around. Like, I'm not saying that I prefer the old way where you had all that stuff over here where you clicked here and you clicked there, because I did have an issue in The Sims 3 with that, because everything to me at least seemed like it was on a slant a lot of times, whereas now with the controls. This way I can actually line it up so that in my eyes it's square. So I do appreciate that you have greater control. It's just that I'm having a hard time maximizing that greater control at the moment. I'm sure I'll get much better than that, so I'm not going to knock them for it. It's just something that I noticed. And I'm going to stop talking for a second so that I can line up a few things for my Sims to do. So one moment, please. Okay, now I'm going to have my Sim do some analyzing of a book in order to work on her job. Now, this is actually one of the things I do like, even though I said earlier that I'm a little annoyed with the way they do the work. I know people complained about the rabbit hole, but to me a solution is not to just eliminate the rabbit hole. Which is in fact what they did. Is like, okay, y'all didn't like the rabbit hole? Well, we'll just get rid of the rabbit hole. That to me is not an adequate solution. But with regard to the careers, I do like the fact of how they give you things that you have to do on your lot, since you're going to be on your lot a lot of the time anyway, that is related to your job. That part I do like. Since I can't see my Sim go off to work or do regulate her on the job, at least I can do this. So I actually feel more involved with my Sim's career, rather than every so often you would get an opportunity in The Sims 3. There are things that you have to do outside of your job all of the time in order to progress. That part I really do like, and that's why several of my Sims, instead of just having them stay at home and be a writer or be an artist or be a computer programmer, I'm actually going to leave them in the professions, because I do really like that. So that's what I'm having her do now. I'm having her analyze a book, because I already know from playing the game a little bit that counts, as you can see, towards her reading books, because she's already read this book. Then I'm actually going to probably have her write a book, but I'm going to check on her social needs, or her needs. See what I mean about the socialization? You see how fast that goes down? I had this at full, and now it's already down. So as soon as she gets through analyzing the book, I'm going to have her at least call somebody. If I can find that guy that she was playing chess with, I'll have her call him. So that bothers me a little bit, but not enough, obviously, to stop playing it. I will say this, even though I didn't do the Create Sim, I actually do enjoy the Create Sim. Again, I do have a learning curve with regard to pulling things to make things exactly the way I want them. But as I create more Sims, even in the demo part, as I created more Sims, the better I got at it. The one thing that I wish they would do with the Create Sim is basically have them naked, not, all naked, but have them just in their underwear as a default when you are working on their body. Now granted, I already found a workaround. You pull up the tattoo and then you start pulling and pushing, but it's difficult, at least for me, to see what I want to pull and push when they have clothes on, as opposed to when I put them in tattoo mode, I can see clearly what it is I wish to push and pull on the body. The face obviously isn't a problem, but on the body it is. So for those of you who were like, this is kind of, I can't get them exactly the way I want because they have their clothes on, there's a handy dandy tip. Put them in tattoo mode. You'll be able to do it. Okay, she is inspired, so I'm going to have her start on another book once she gets through chit-chatting. So I'm going to have, short story. That's the other thing that I like is, obviously, since it's a new game, I love new games, even if it's in the same type of genre, so that I prefer these types of games where I'm just going to let her keep that name. Even where it's sort of like The Sims 3, so there's some familiarity with it. There's a comfort level about it, but there's still so many other things to explore and figure out. And I really have been enjoying that aspect of the game, like coming over and mining. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to let her just keep writing her book. But I've had other Sims mine these things, these nodes, and I discovered that you when you click on it in your bag, you can, if depending on what comes out of it, you can send them to a certain society, and then you can start a collection. Yeah, I am getting excited about that. I love geeky stuff like that. In fact, one of my tunes actually bought a article of furniture that holds collections like that. It was like a mineral collection board, and I'm going to be very interested in seeing what happens when she completes the collection. I like geeky stuff like that. So when she, you see that, I'd rather go to the grocery store and have in the refrigerator stuff ready for them to utilize, rather than anytime I click on something. I'm gonna have her clean that up later. Every time I click on the refrigerator to have them cook something, it's an automatic ding. Especially if you're not using a cheat code or something to have them make more money. Although I haven't had an issue, I will say that her place is fairly well decorated. Well, not decorated, but she has definitely everything that she needs, and I have not had an issue with money. And I'm definitely, at least initially, trying out this game without any cheat code. I'm not even sure if there's cheat codes available yet, but definitely into just trying it out without any of that type of thing. Just how much money can I make? How fast can I make it? Can I make it the way that I want to? How much time can I? That's one thing I do like, especially about the writer career, is that you work 4 days a week instead of 5 like all the others. So far, when I've looked at them, that's the only one that you do that. So, oh, she has somebody at the door. Now, how come I never hear them when they come to the door? Let's go, and I want some more choices. I had no idea that this person was at the door. Usually I'll at least, oh, that's one of the reasons why. Because they knock at your door instead of ringing the doorbell. I don't understand that. I would always hear the doorbell ring in The Sims 3. I never hear it in The Sims 4 because they knock on the door. And a lot of times I don't hear it. Could be because I'm talking, but... So let's have her do that, and then since she's hungry, I will invite her inside, and then I will make a serving of, well, actually let me clean this up, because normally I have neat Sims anyway, but since you only get 3 instead of 5, I decided to skip it. And then we will serve some fishy tacos. And I don't get that $5 back, I bet you. So we're going to put this on play so you can see them conversate. Apparently my sim has been more social than I realized in order to have somebody come and chat. Other things that I like. I love this hair. As in, I like that particular braid. Oh, isn't that nice? I think it's called a fishtail braid. I love that braid. So, of course, I had to do at least one sim with the fishtail braid. I think I also have a sim with an afro too, so I like afros. And I did one with braids and la 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 la. So I've been having a good time with all the different hairstyles that they have. Even though you had more hairstyles in The Sims 3, the type of styles in The Sims 4, I think, so far has been more varied. So I have been enjoying that. Now this I don't quite understand. I'm expecting her to chat, to just join the conversation instead of standing at the door. So let's see, is she really, really hungry yet? I guess not. See, I don't want to cancel this other stuff because I'm concerned. I'm concerned that I'll lose my 18 bucks. So we'll see what happens. We're going to speed this up a little bit here. Okay, girlie's leaving. Now, when you're out in public, other people will actually come and join your conversations. So I'm a little disappointed that sim just knocked on the door, stood at the door as if we weren't there, and then turned around and left. Little disappointed in that. Now, one leftover from The Sims 3 is that people that come to your house will just go and start using stuff. With one of my other Sims, her friend will just go and sit down and use her computer. I had a Sim stay awake for 24 hours straight. Really? You would think she'd be tired. Yeah, she's working on it. As you can see here, this is the thing I was just talking about. You invited someone over, they just come in, look around for a couple seconds, and then immediately go and start messing with your computer. I would actually expect them to come and stand in the kitchen with you. And this is the other thing. They will grab a plate still. Now, this is the other thing. To me, it should be automatic to call them to dinner. What I'm going to have to do is stop her from eating, go back over to the plate, and then do the call to the meal so that they can eat together. I'm going to have to do something with this book, so we'll just put it on the floor. There we go. So there are still some things, in my opinion, that, as far as socially goes, but then again, it is a game. I'm not saying that it's bad and here we go. Just ridiculous. And at least you can do that. At least I can pick up the servings, because otherwise I might have gotten one of those. I still remember from The Sims 3, anytime anything got in the way, that the Sim would stomp their foot and go, "Kronk! Ebba!" That I have not seen happen, and I am very, very grateful. That's another really plus in my book for The Sims 4, and that is Sims maneuvering around. I have not had a Sim get stuck in a doorway. I have not had a Sim get stuck because they can't get around another Sim. That has been freaking awesome. Thank you for fixing that. That is awesome. And again, multitasking. Now they did have a little bit of this in The Sims 3. If two people were eating together, they would have a conversation and the social skill would raise. I have another sim that actually has a TV, and I enjoy the fact that they will go and sit in the TV room, and then I'll turn on the TV. They'll sit, watch TV, and chat. To me, that's awesome. And let me check and see if my sim... Yeah. What time does my sim go to work? Oh yeah, she goes to work late, so she can stay in chat for a little while. So, all in all, definitely been enjoying The Sims 4. Again, there are a few things that I think were a serious step backwards, but not serious enough to say I hate this game, because I don't. I have been enjoying it. I've been enjoying the newness of it, but I definitely hope that they come out with some more neighborhoods or places for them to go, and definitely more variety, because right now it's just 2 museums, 1 library, 2 gyms, and 2 or 3 bars and 2 parks. Definitely need some more variety there. I do like the way that they are doing the whole how you pick up a skill. Once you do something that turns out to be a skill, so basically, if you never played The Sims, it seems a little odd for those of us who actually played the old Sim games, but for someone who like maybe have never played a Sims game, I think it's actually a better idea to have them instantly go to level 1 by first doing something and then having them level from there. Like I said, it seems a little odd for those of us who have been playing the Sims games, but then we knew what the skills were. This way, it's nice, when, for example, in this video, I was playing chess. Well, that was the first time I had actually played chess with someone, and so I instantly got the logic skill. Well, that's a discovery. Oh, there's a logic skill. Now, all of us old-time simmers, yeah, we already knew there was a logic skill and that you can do it playing chess. Well, not everybody knows that. Not everybody has played The Sims 4. So, picking up, seeing what kind of skill you get just from doing something, I think is another big plus. Really appreciate that, because it lends to the whole discovery thing. Every little thing I do could mean that I'm picking up a new skill or discovering something new about the game, and I find that awesome. So we're going to see that. Now this I do appreciate, when your neighbor comes over or your friend comes over and they'll actually start cleaning up your house. That I get a kick out of. So since she's going to go read a book, I'm going to have my sim clean up and put things up. So put away and put away. I also like the fact that when you do put away food, it tells you exactly how long, how many servings you had. They did not tell you that in The Sims 3, and how long before the food would spoil. You didn't find out in The Sims 3 that your food was going to spoil until it made you sick. Basically. So that is a definite yeah, yippee, yippee for me. Appreciate that. And that's all as far as first impressions that I'm going to give right now. Stay tuned for more, and I'll probably do some Let's Plays. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe, like, and happy simming.